talking about aloe vera plants. We've got a beauty sitting right here. This is one of the nicer ones that I've owned. I used to have about 350 of them back in the old days when I had my tropical greenhouses. And now I just have the one at the moment, but I'm going to have more, and I'll tell you about that right now. Okay, key thing with aloe veras through the winter months is we definitely have to keep the water levels quite low through the winter. Like the occasional watering is fine. I usually like to make sure it's thoroughly dry, so I'll actually take my finger and I'll spin this around and I just like literally push it right down into the soil, like that full depth, and make sure right now that's bone dry right down to that depth, which is good because we're in January now. These months I typically don't water them, typically through like December and January, if at all, during that time. But I look at the thickness of the leaves, and these leaves here are really nice and plump and thick. Like these things have got to be at least about maybe a half an inch or even more. This one's about an inch thick almost. So that tells you the leaf is plump, it's full of water, and it means it's going to last a long time. And when those start to shrivel and they start to shrink a little bit and they become cupped inside here, and that'll shrink down, shrink down, shrink down until it's just a little gap there. And that little gap's telling you it's running out of water. So that's the time when you give it a good soak. But even that being said, during the winter months, I just give it a reasonable watering. I don't thoroughly soak it. And that's just because it is a desert plant, and in the winter they don't really need much. And as the days get longer and the sun gets brighter, then I definitely start to water it a little bit more. But they definitely have to go dry between waterings. There's just no doubt about it. So that's the basics of this particular plant as far as water goes. You'll notice the little babies here on the side. And these little babies can be removed, and I am going to remove them so that I can get this plant to continue to grow bigger and bigger. So I don't want any competition. I'd love to have just a single plant like this, one big massive one in the middle of a pot. To me, that would be the ultimate. These little guys, definitely I'll take them out and I'll divide them off and I'll give each one their own little pot, and then I'll have a whole family of aloe veras. So the other thing with aloe veras is that they do also have the medicinal value, which is really mostly to do with skin irritation and burns, that sort of thing. And so I think we're all aware that aloe vera can be used in the case if you do get a severe burn or any kind of burn. You can break off one of these branches and then squeeze the juice out of the stem and put that right onto a burn. It's just fabulous. It completely eliminates the pain, and it helps it start healing right away. So it's one of those plants that I think is super nice to have around, just in case you do get a burn or a scald of some sort. It works amazingly. I don't know if there's much that work as well as aloe vera gel. So the gel itself, when you buy aloe vera gel, you might have to check and see what's in the ingredients. Just because I'm not sure, you never know from manufacturer to manufacturer what's in it. And there may be a way of manufacturing it yourself if you have a bunch of aloe veras. But the bigger the stems, the better the medicinal value. And the key there is that if you do harvest gel, you need a lot of gel. So like I know some people have been using it for their hand sanitizers. So with the hand sanitizer, you need a lot of gel. So that's just something to think about, is you need a lot of plants and you need a lot of gel. I'm not recommending that, only because I don't really know the ins and outs of preparing that properly to use on a daily basis. Typically, aloe is safe for use externally on a daily basis. Occasionally internally is okay, but I don't find that is something that's recommended to be doing that every day either. So be a little cautious of that. But other than that, aloe veras, they don't really need much food. The occasional feeding is fine in the summertime when it's really hot. I can move these plants straight out into my pergola area outside and give them a little bit better sunlight. So that's what I prefer to do, and I'm sure the plant prefers it as well. They grow to be quite massive. This plant last spring was about this big in a small little pot. So you can see how big it is in just one season, but growing outside. So it's a good one. It's one of those plants that I think is good to grow, fun to grow. It's a good emergency backup to have in the house, and they're certainly easy. Just even in the wintertime, I'll slide this right up close to my big picture window here so that it gets as much light as possible. And if it was possible to have a little bit of maybe a grow light on them as well, because they always need high light. Probably one of the most, again, most of the cactus families are all going to need very high light conditions. And so this particular one is a succulent. And but anyway, good plant, cool plant, love them, and one of my favorites. So thanks again for tuning in today. I hope today you got some good information about aloe veras. And if you have other questions, please put comments in below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and also check out some of our other videos. It's fabulous. Appreciate you checking in. Have a great day.